Headingley, day 4, and this Ashes series is still alive thanks to another impressive run chase from England. It got the nerve jangling at various stages. In the end, it needed Chris Woakes and Mark Wood to get them over the line after a fantastic innings by Harry Brook, his first international game on his home ground here at Headingley. Vish, it seems we say it every time we chat this series, but another extraordinary day of Test cricket, another extraordinary Test match. One England had to win, and they found a way to do it.
Yeah, they did find a way, because it looked at a certain point where they were throwing it away, and I think there was a real fear, you know, with the wicket of Johnny Bairstow that was it. England were quite deep. They were reliant on essentially the tail, you know, as well as Woakes and Wood batted, just because of the way that Australia have approached the tail, and on both sides really, with Wood with the ball in Australia's first innings. It kind of felt like it's going to be incredibly hard to score rounds, but they found a way, and yeah, it was remarkable. It was more tense than it had to be, but
kind of was probably always going to be that way.
Yeah, I suppose so. And I'm purely, you know, I'm saying this purely in hindsight, but when you win games like this, especially when you've lost two nail biters, as Stokes alluded to in his press conference, it's going to have incredible nourishing qualities. They've got a week now between now and the fourth test at Old Trafford, so there's a chance to not only just bask in the glory of this moment, but also just harness that energy, you know, into next week.
Let's just drill down on the two England players who came back into the side for this game, Chris Woakes and Mark Wood. Tremendous impact from both of them, terrific stories. That couldn't have gone any better, really, could it, having those two players come in and both having a big impact in different ways?
Yeah, I think it's, you know, Woakes and Wood, with very limited cricket, have come into this game and been the standout players for England, really. I think the most remarkable thing about them both is that they've actually had periods in the past where they've played for England off the back of little cricket and not done very well at all. And it might be because of age, it might be because of the nature of the cricket this England team are playing, but they hit their straps straight away. Everyone knew what they had to do, and everyone performed that role incredibly. I mean, I don't think I've seen Woakes bowl as well as that in a while. And in his press conference, I likened it to the 2019 spell against Australia in the 50-over World Cup at Edgbaston, where it really felt like his snap was back, he was moving the ball all over the place, and obviously it was a good cricket wicket, but yeah, I mean, they did exactly what was asked of them, and perhaps more actually, because England were two bowlers down in that third innings, with Ben Stokes unable to bowl, and Ollie Robinson who, having a back spasm and now fitnessed out for the next test. And they held their own, you know, they bowled spells longer than they probably would have expected coming into this match, and they deserved the glory of walking off and everyone cheering them after they knocked off the winning runs.
There was a good comeback story for Australia as well. Mitchell Marsh returning for his first test in 4 years, scoring that fantastic century on the opening day. I thought he bowled pretty well too. He got the ball to move on this fourth day here and did take the wicket of Zach Crawley as England were wobbling. It leaves Australia with a really interesting scenario now going into Old Trafford. Cameron Green, who missed this game with a very small hamstring strain, is due to be fit. Very hard to leave Mitchell Marsh out now. Australia have sort of put their faith in Cameron Green, so you'd think he'd come straight back in, and that means they've got to leave somebody out, and the attention is going to turn to David Warner. Out twice in this game, ran the wicket to Stuart Broad. Now 17 times he's fallen to Broad. So selectors are going to have to do some thinking over this week off they've got leading into Old Trafford, and it is going to be fascinating. Vish, it seems silly to talk about momentum in this series, given how things have changed within hours, never mind days and weeks. Do you think this, though? Is this shown that England are a realistic chance of getting those 3 wins they need to take the Ashes?
Yeah, I think so. I think it shows them that above anything else. I don't necessarily think Australia will be that put off by the way that they've lost here, because, you know, Edgbaston was as close as it was, you know, winning by 2 wickets. That was basically their moment for this, yeah, or their equivalent, as it were. But I think it will just reinforce to England that, you know, that their style of play is conducive to getting results against Australia. We know it's conducive to getting results because what we've seen since the start of last summer. But, you know, there was a fear when you were watching it, you'd think some of the batting could be a bit hit or miss. And there were moments today where it felt like maybe that was creeping back in. But they got over the line. They performed incredibly well. They expended a lot of energy, like physically and emotionally, into these last 3 tests, and I think they needed this. Otherwise, I think if they'd lost here, there's every chance Old Trafford would have been a blowout. But they have won, and I suppose get excited really, because the next 2 tests are going to be pretty thrilling.
Well, exactly. It's all set up to be a terrific encounter in Manchester. I think everyone needs a few days to take stock. Players, spectators, even journalists might need to just have a few quiet days between now and then. It's been terrific so far. The Ashes is poised at 2-1 and we'll see you at Old Trafford in a week's time.